All right, so we have a little different video for you today. If you follow our stuff, you know we like to find out not only about the prettiest boats out there, but valuable information to those watching. And we feel what we're gonna do today can be very valuable to either the end user, dealer, manufacturers. And that's why we have Magnus and Brett from Overlook Marine Group. We're gonna learn a little bit about what they do, what their business is about. And then any questions you guys have, drop them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them for you. But Magnus, Brett, thank you first of all for hanging out with me. We're on a beautiful 40-foot Invincible right here in 15th Street Fisheries. It's always a great spot. Weather's fantastic, so it's gonna be a nice day here. So if you guys don't mind, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we are Overlook Marine Group. We are a wholesaler. What that basically means is that we buy any trades from individuals to dealers to manufacturers. Anyone that takes a trade in, we can buy it. That's what we do.
Okay, so you are taking end user retail boats in as trade, somebody that maybe doesn't want to deal with the sale. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, so if you have a boat that maybe you want to go buy a new boat and your current boat is not allowing you to get into that next boat.
Which happens a lot.
Yeah, Overlook Marine Group, what we do is we'll agree to a price. We have a fast process and we can close within a number of days depending on what the boat is and where the location is. We operate on the entire East Coast as the majority of where we do business, but we bought boats out in Ohio and Michigan and all over the country.
So what would you say is the main benefit of working with Overlook Marine Group compared to, let's say, selling your boat with a broker?
Yeah, I mean, the main benefit is that we're instant liquidity. We pay you right away, right? So you don't have to have it with a broker. It doesn't take 3, 6, or 9 months to sell your boat. We're instant. We'll be out there in a couple of days to look at it. We'll do a quick inspection and close 48 hours later. And it's not for everyone, but it is something where, if you find your boat that you really want, you need to get out of your boat. You can trade one against the other. We're there to, take your old boat.
Well, like you mentioned, the liquidity and the 1 day to purchase a boat, there's a lot of carrying costs when you try to sell your boat, which we had a conversation a little bit earlier about. You might have a dock slip in the water that costs you $1,000, $2,000 a month, which we see here pretty consistently. Insurance, everything else. And I personally know some people that have a boat on order and want to run that boat that they currently own as close as they can to the delivery of their new one, and sometimes it's not that easy to sell their boat, so it might work for someone like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We do that a lot. Yeah, there are a lot of manufacturers that will call us and say, hey, we have this guy, he wants to trade the boat in. Boat is not ready for 6 months, 9 months. Will you take it at that point? Absolutely. We come up with a roundabout number. You can never sort of price forward. And when it transacts, we're there, we take it off, and he has his new boat, and no more cost or payments or insurance on his old boat. It's instant.
Okay, and a question I have, which I'm sure the viewers will have, how aggressive are you with the pricing? Are you guys coming in with a real lowball offer, or how close are you to the market value? Because I'm sure that's what's going to be the assumption from those watching, that you guys are going to want to steal it to be able to get it and take it quickly. Explain a little bit how that works, if you don't mind.
That's a great question, and we get that all the time. When we price a boat, we look at the market, the current market, not a market from 5 years ago or 24 months ago. We look at the current market value of that boat. We'll usually look maybe a year or two different. We'll look at the engines, the options, how the boat's been cared for, and we're going to put as much as a competitive number on it as anybody will. We really look at a lot of things. There's a kind of a whole lot of factors that go into it. And we will give as much as we can for that customer's boat or for that dealer's boat that needs to move the trade.
And you mentioned dealer. You guys work with dealers, manufacturers, as well as an end user, or just a regular Joe Schmo Sunday boater?
Absolutely. This is the week of the Palm Beach Boat Show, and we'll have a number of dealers calling us up while they're sitting there actively working on deals, and we'll have our team putting numbers on trades for those boats currently while those people are at the boat show.
Cool. So a lot of times when you put your boat on trade with a dealer or the manufacturer, especially directly, they'll come to a company like yourself to work with you so you can handle that deal and sell the boat most of the time, because they don't want to deal with the trade-in for the most part, and this is your business.
Sure, I mean, this is what we are experts in, and a lot of times we can put more money into the boat than a dealer can, because we have the distribution, we have the closing department, we have the transportation, logistics, everything. I mean, this is our business, this is how we are set up to operate.
Okay, and one thing also we spoke about a little bit before jumping on camera, this is a volume thing for you guys. So you're not looking to make a huge margin on each boat. You're looking to crank as many of these as possible. And like you mentioned, most of the time you actually put the boat out on the market at the lowest retail out there at the current time.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not a boat collector. You know, we try to, as much as possible, be competitive when and try to sell our, you know, the inventory that we have as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Okay. And another thing I just thought of, where do you guys advertise your boats for sale? Where could somebody maybe looking for, you say you put great deals out there as well. Where can somebody come search for your deals?
So one place that you can find all the boats in one spot is at overlookmarinegroup.com. We advertise on all the major services that are out there: Yacht World, boats.com, Boat Trader, Yachter is a big one that's actually up and coming. And we're getting the boats out there to the market, and again, moving them as quick as possible is really how our business works. And one of the things, when you go and find a boat on our website, if you currently have a boat, you can trade it on one of our boats. That's another benefit as well. So, you know, we're sitting on a 40 Invincible catamaran. If you had a Boston Whaler or any type of boat, you can contact one of our salespeople and they'll put a number together on taking your boat on trade against it.
So taking a trade on the original trade.
Exactly.
Okay, so you mentioned the 40 Invincible, beautiful boat. This is one of the boats I mentioned to you that got us into the catamaran thing early on with the guys over there. What's the story behind this thing?
Yeah, no, actually, this is the perfect example. So the gentleman who had this boat loved cats, loved Invincible, fishing, everything about it. He ended up buying a house that had a smaller lift. He wanted a 33 cat instead. So we took this one on trade, sold him a 33 cat, and within 48 hours he had his new boat in the backyard.
Oh, really?
We took this boat, and so that's kind of the efficiency of what we do, and it worked really, really well for him and a lot of other clients that kind of want to do the same thing.
Yeah, because the thing is, during the whole COVID time, I think you could put an engine on anything and sell it. But now times have changed. Things are not moving like that. So for somebody to take on that undertaking of selling their boat, like they say, they might sell it for a couple of extra dollars, doing it on their own. But when you start figuring the insurance, the slip cost, and all the carrying costs, the difference may not be much at all, and you do it like this. You don't have to deal with any headache. No broker. You know, broker fee's another one that we mentioned. You know, we broker boats ourselves, so you know the brokers need to make money. So if you put it with a broker, that commission and all the extra fees that go with the 3, 4, 5, 6 months that it may take to sell your boat, that difference might not be worth it at all. So just to not deal with it, you know, I'd be interested in.
I mean, and that's what a lot of people feel too, because everything is expensive with the boat and maintenance and everything else.
Yeah.
We instantly take that over, and it becomes our burden. No matter what's wrong with the boat after we take it, it's on us. So yeah, we try to do a good inspection and everything like that, but we're also a dealer, so we have to fix the boat up if there is anything wrong with it before we sell it. And we don't deal in anything that has been wrecked or sunk or anything like that. That's the one thing that we just don't get involved in. There are other companies that do that. But if you have a boat, and pretty much no matter what shape it's in or what size it is, we'll take it.
You'll take a look at it. And how long have you guys been doing this?
Good story. So Magnus and myself have been friends for over 20 years, and we started in the wholesale business about 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And if this was a chapter book, we'd had a lot of chapters in that book.
I'm sure.
But we're passionate about it. Our families are passionate about it. We've raised our kids on boats, and you know, this is what we do. You know, day in and day out, we've seen it. We're familiar with, you know, engine packages and you name it on the boats, and different manufacturers and different markets. And I think our experience out there doing what we've been doing for so long really gives the customer or the dealership the benefit of that. You know, we built up a team of great people, and our team's excellent. We have from closing to captains and just everybody in between. We make that process as seamless as we can for the customer.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's obviously great to be able to work in a passion that you have, boating. We can attest to that, you know, 100%. And I didn't know you guys had been around so long, so that's also a nice thing. You told us a story before we got in here about that little gone in 60 seconds thing where you did what, 27 boats in a single day?
Yeah. So,
tell us about that one.
So again, going into it, we have done some interesting purchases over those years. One of them was a day that we had acquired 27 boats in one shot. And part of the deal was moving those boats in one day. So we got our team together, and we planned out the logistics and everything that goes into something like that, which is a massive undertaking. I mean, moving one boat is a lot, moving 27 boats is a whole lot. And we kind of thought it'd be a fun idea to shoot it like gone in 60 seconds. So we gave every boat a name. We assigned a captain to that boat. And we went all in, almost to the chalkboard, crossing the names off as they came into the harbor. And it was just fun, you know.
Yeah, gotta have fun with it, but I can't imagine how you even worked out the logistics of 27 boats in a single day.
Well, that's a really good point, actually. So that's a lot of what we do, and we need to be very, very efficient in it. And it is all the logistics. Brett mentioned our team. We have a superb team, closing department, trucking, relocation, docks, storage. It's a massive undertaking to constantly move all these boats around, and we will hold multi-million dollars worth of inventory at any one time. So the logistic part is a huge part of what we do and what we have established, and that's why we can be super competitive on buying boats.
Okay, so if you guys can, let's say I'm selling my 29 Orion. Can you take us through a transaction, what it would look like from my first phone call to you all the way through?
Sure. First phone call, very simple. You give us some ideas of, what your boat is, make, model, year, hours, any special features. Some people already have them listed, so they will send us the listing. Within 15 minutes, 30 minutes, we'll have a number for you.
Really?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're super quick. We know the market. You either like it or you don't. And at that point, if it's something that you want to continue with, we'll have a team out to inspect boats in a couple of days. Just take a quick look at it. It's not a full survey with tons of people around, and this is just our mechanic going in, just make sure it is what you told us it was. And if it is, we'll send you the money 24 hours after that. So, on the short side, this thing can take 3-4 days. Probably more normal is everything drags out, flights, all that stuff. So it can take a week and a half, but it's very, very quick. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys mentioned having a boat listed. Do you work with brokers as well?
Absolutely. That's a really large part of our business, actually.
Really?
A large benefit to the customer as well. So if the boat's already on the open market and the customer calls us up, like using your 29 Orion, we'll reach out to the broker, include him with the deal, get a little bit of marketability. Maybe the boat's been on the market and it's been at the wrong price. Maybe the boat's been on the market and has some damage and that's why it hasn't sold. And we'll use all that together and include him with that as far as the whole process is concerned to get a price for what that customer is going to get on a trade-in with us.
So if you guys were to purchase the boat from a listed broker, the broker gets paid his commission or her commission?
Absolutely, yes. And it happens all the time, and sometimes they'll even wind up bringing the buyer ultimately as well. Sometimes we'll find
Oh, really?
that
So you can keep them on as the listing agent potentially?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And if let's say we have an Orion and we have a Costa, hypothetically speaking, if we needed to get both gone, could you do multiple boats from a single buyer? I say you've done 27 in a day, so I assume.
Yeah, our capacity is quite large. So
Yeah.
we can take, we've done 27 in a day. When it gets up to each individual piece being, $4 or $5 million, we do spend a little bit more time just evaluating the asset itself, the boat itself. But up to that point, no problem at all.
Okay, so you guys talk about doing a lot of transactions and working obviously with a lot of, retail end users, dealers, manufacturers. What are some of the steps that maybe they can take to have a smooth transaction with you, or what are some of the problems maybe you have come across that we can put out there so maybe they can avoid?
Yeah, one of the big things is when, like Magnus said earlier, when we're asking you for the year, make, model, and the hours and the equipment that's on the boat, full transparency. Sometimes we'll be told that a boat has, 400 or 500 hours on it. We put that number on. We arrive at the boat, 3 days later, a week later, and the boat has 1,500 hours on the boat.
Busy week.
It was a busy week fishing, hopefully, And it's something where, look, we're not saying we won't buy the boat, we don't walk away from the deal, but we do say in full transparency, if we were told it had 1,500 hours on it, this is what we'd be willing to pay. We've arrived at boats and, we usually ask people just to give us their honesty, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's the vinyl, how's the paint, what upgrades have you done? Have you changed the batteries, this, that, or whatever? And sometimes when we arrive, sometimes even unbeknownst to the broker or the customer, there could be some damage. Maybe it was tied up the wrong way and a piling put a scratch on the side of a beautiful, metallic paint job.
Sure.
Again, we're not going to say to the customer, no, we're not buying the boat. It's a no-go for us, but it's something that's going to have to be, addressed.
All right, because you're putting a price on it basically on their word over a phone call.
Exactly.
So there has to be some sort of inspection. You said it wasn't a long, drawn-out survey, but you're just basically justifying what the owner said over the phone. If it's pretty close to what they say, you're honoring that price that you mentioned over the phone, or something real close to it.
Yeah, we're not the folks we don't do insurance boats or fire damage boats or salvage or sunk boats, stuff like this. That's not what our organization is set up to do. So that transparency is key to us. Just telling us as much as they can tell us, we'll listen. And it's going to help us put the most money on that boat.
Yeah, and I think to Brett's point too, if you tell us that the boat only has one motor working and the other, that's fine. We still buy the boat. We have no problem doing it. But if we know it up front, we'll give you a realistic price up front. And if it's still something you want to move forward with, then we'll do it. So if it's going to get there anyway, we're going to find out that something's not working or the hours are off and all that stuff. So the more we have up front, the smoother the transaction will be.
Okay. It seems like you guys are successful in what you're doing basically by analyzing a boat and pricing it accurately, all the way down to the amount of obviously the hours. But do you guys use some sort of software for that, or you have trained professionals that are popping out that number, which you say can happen as soon as, you know, a few minutes after that phone call?
So yeah, I mean, look, we have proprietary software that we use to help us guide us. I think in this particular business, you know, the difference between this and the auto industry is that there's so many similarities with, if you buy a Toyota with a certain, you know, year and model, boats are so different. So
Yeah.
our software helps us, you know, 75% of the way. And then the last 25% is really the inspection, us knowing the market, the model, the make, and kind of placing that.
Right, 'cause there's so many boats, like you say, and there's even within the same, you know, Invincible 40 line, different power, different electronics, different,
100%.
you know,
Absolutely.
different owners, different use. One fished it like crazy, the other one, it was just a sandbar clean. There's so many different scenarios that it's got to be a difficult thing to fine tune. It seems like you guys got it figured out. All right, guys, so I want to thank you very much for spending some time with me here. I really wanted to learn what you did. I've heard about it. You know, we've heard about, you know, these companies that take these trades and you never really know where they go. So I've always been curious about it, and it's nice to know you guys personally now. But if you had a sentence or two just to give a summary of what Overlook Marine Group is, what would that be, just for those viewing?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and thank you for having us. Yeah, I mean, look, we take any trade anywhere in this country. We deal with boats from 20 feet to 150 feet, and just, again, super quick, easy, and we're gonna pay you the most for your used boat.
Yeah, and we're one phone call away. If you head out into overlookmarine.com, you can put all your information right on the website, and 24/7 somebody from our team will get back to you to give you a number that you can take to get into that next boat that you've been waiting for.
All right, guys, awesome. Thank you very much once
Thank you.
again.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it. Any questions you guys have, again, you can always reach out to us. We'll do our best to answer, but hopefully this little conversation answered most of the questions. I'm sure these guys would be more than happy to take a few minutes of their time as well to go through your boat with you. And hey, you know, if you don't want to deal with the headache of listing your boat, selling it, again, it's not COVID time anymore where you can sell anything. You got to really, you know, work it now. So if you want to just cut it, move on to your next project, you know, these are the guys to speak with. So again, thank you guys for your time, and maybe we grab some lunch real quick here at 15th Street.
Nothing else, like take the boat for a rip.
All right. This boat's for sale, by the way, if you're interested. 40-foot Invincible, and we're going to do some social media stuff and put it out there. But if you're interested in a 40 Invincible or just about anything else, reach out to these guys.